update 1.8 was released for the Division, which included the classified Predator's Mark gear set, possibly the strongest DPS gear set in the game. So what made it so good? Predator's Mark had a unique talent that applied damage over time to enemies of 50% of the weapon damage done after 10 successful hits. Classified gear sets turned up the dial to max, and for Predator's Mark, this increased the damage over time by 15% for every 3000 stamina your build had. Shoot enemies, apply the dot, and leave them to die. I need that in the Division 2. Hell, you need it, and I'm going to give it to you. Predator's Mark? Meet the new improved Predator's Mark. But this is not a bleed build, because the key thing about Predator's Mark was that the dot was huge. And let's be honest, bleed damage in PvE just isn't. So I turned to one of my favourite weapons, and clearly one of yours, Pestilence, which applies a dot which deals 100% of weapon damage over 10 seconds, stacking up to 5000%. That is big. Now there are two things that I needed to deliver with this build. Weapon damage to max out the Pestilence debuff. Survivability, because when you're using an LMG, you are going to take damage. Oh, and crowd control to make hitting those shots easier. Okay. There are three things. I didn't expect a Spanish Inquisition.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Fuck off, Monty Python. This is my video. For weapon damage, I've avoided using gear sets because most of them don't buff the Pestilence debuff. Strikers, for example. One piece of Walker Harris is great, adding 20% weapon damage. Contractor's gloves add 15% weapon damage and 10% LMG weapon damage. And the Henri chest piece, which I've rolled to add 15% weapon damage, comes with the awesome Talent Perfect Companion for another 20% total weapon damage. Now I tried a lot of different talents on the chest piece. Obliterate, Intimidate, Procrastinate, all the top DPS talents really, but Perfect Companion was the most trustworthy and consistent, just like me. My Henri is rolled with armor regen, making it great for weapon damage and survivability, but the king for this is the Memento backpack, which at full stacks delivers 30% weapon damage and 3% armor regen, which lasts for 5 minutes and is refreshed each time I pick up a trophy. Trophies also buff my weapon damage by 25% and give me 20% bonus armor for 10 seconds. Coming in a close second for weapon damage and survivability is the Picaro's holster, which comes with a blue core and 15% weapon damage. And then we have one piece of Bellstone armory, which has been rolled to weapon damage and comes with 1% armor regen. With the attributes I have on my chest and my knee pads, I will have nearly 5% armor regen when the build is fully optimized. So you might think that running a fixer drone is a bit redundant, and you're probably right, but it does the job of activating the Talent Perfect Companion, and seeing my health come back so quickly is fucking awesome. I'm also getting 10% armor on kill from the gunner specialization, which also gives me a great rate of fire and reload buff, replenishes my ammo, bonus armor, and unlocks the Banshee Pulse skill. This is a great crowd control skill and can be used aggressively to wipe enemies quickly or defensively to give me time to reposition. This build captures the essence of the classified Predator's Mark gear set and ramps it up. I love the dot damage build I created with the Pestilence, which you should check out here. I didn't think I would ever say this, but I might like this build even more.